don't know how I'm not an alcoholic, how I'm not popping pills. Oh, I should be popping these pills and taking all the, anything I can get my hands on to stop the pain or whatever. If anything, I'm going through more pain than anything because I'm beyond, my inflammation in my body is beyond what it should be, because I've tolerated it for so long that probably what most people wouldn't, would think, oh, it's pain. I've already exceeded that level because I already, I've dealt with things for so long. I don't know.
Yeah. I can understand that. Like, I won't hardly take medication unless I absolutely have to, because, I've had family members who have experienced, side effects from medication, and
Yep.
I've been prescribed the wrong dosage on medication before,
Yep.
and it's just, I totally understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. And like, well, like I said, within the last couple of years, it was not just my diabetic medication. When I got the COVID shot, which I know is controversial to some people, and some people it's not. And I didn't want to say this, but one of the other things within the last couple of years, I did get the very first COVID shot, and
Yeah.
I reacted. I reacted not in a good way, and I could not. I had a rash. Um, my thoughts were not okay. My body temperature rose and would go down. I could not, for months and months and months, my body couldn't regulate my temperature. It was either I was freezing. I literally would have uh my heat register at 80, and it was like 80, 70 out, 80, 70 outside, and I couldn't get warm, or I was
Yeah.
absolutely hot and I was taking off clothes everywhere. I couldn't. There was just a lot. So I mean, it's just, I'm not saying one way or another if it's a good thing or a bad thing for anybody. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's just, my own experience from things I've gone through in life to my medications. I would be healthier if I could probably take my medications in a healthy way. I haven't got to that point to be able to be okay with medication. I
Yeah.
I just haven't been able to be okay to take my medications in a way that's comfortable for me, in a way that I feel safe, in a way um that makes me feel okay that to be able to do. And I I I don't want to get in a place of a dark place of ever feeling depressed again, to the point. And one of my medications was to be level, to be okay. I was
Yeah.
on multiple medications, mood stabilizers, and for depression and all that. And it's one of the medications I'm not able to take. I'm on
Yeah.
medications. I was supposed to be on medications for my blood pressure, for my diabetic. I'm supposed to testing, even testing. I can't even do test, which is so dumb. It's so dumb to think about this. I can't even test right now. Like my picking on my finger, for some
Yeah.
reason, in my head, I don't ask me why. When COVID hit, I did everything I could, and the doctor was, I don't know. I was one of the few people that went backwards instead of going on. I was on insulin during that time, and for some reason, when I went to go see my doctor after COVID, I was no longer. I didn't have to be on insulin no more. I was so happy, and he's like, "What did you do? What did you do?" I said, "I don't know. I just was at home, didn't, whatever." But since then, for me to pick my finger and everything, somehow or another, I got in my head that if I pick my finger, I'm gonna get a skin infection, and I'm gonna have an open wound, and then I'm gonna end up in the hospital.
Yeah.
Unrealistic, probably, but this is the reality.
Yeah.
That's what we go through in our heads, things that unrealistic, but things that it's kind of true. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that I think the most important thing that people need to keep in mind with medication is that it reacts with everybody's, chemistry differently. Like, medications can act different for you than it would for me, because we're made different. Like, we have different body chemistry, and Like, people need to keep that in mind. Just because it reacts this way with this person, it's not going to react that way with the next person. So it's
Right.
okay to have, I don't think it's illogical to have those fears, because you don't know what the reactions are going to be.
Right. I mean, I've seen I mean, it's not my story to tell, but I've witnessed with somebody and within my own family that was on medication that was prescribed, and they had been in the hospital and they were prescribed medication. And that person I was caregiver for, they came home in my care, and that person um, was not the person I knew at all. That person did a 360, and very bad things happened. And that person had to go back to the hospital because the medication affected them mentally to the point of a psychotic break, which I hope nobody ever has to experience, because it was one of the worst things that my family had gone through. And it tore up my family, my I will say, um my it tore that situation tore up my family, because the outside family and friends couldn't phantom the reality of what had happened. And trying to explain to anybody, no one wanted to listen, because they all just thought there's that something either I was doing or something that was being environmental or whatever was contributing. But the reality was it was the medication. It was medication, and it was proven. But it's just, yeah, it's reality is it happens. It happens, and it's not really talked about all that much because people don't want to talk about it, but it happens. And
Yeah.
for those of us that it happens to, it's not a good thing. But I will say, all through everything, um, for some reason, I think everything that I go through and everything I have gone through, for some reason, there's this part of me that never grew up. I think it's proven. I don't know exactly. I know it. There's been a conversation on this with somebody a long time ago, and I don't remember who the conversation was with. Is that if you are a if you're a child and you do experience trauma, there is parts of you that don't grow up, and
Yeah.
it stops. Your brain stops at that function. It doesn't stop. You still might grow up in different aspects, but there's parts of you that don't grow up. I think parts of me, the parts of me that people gravitate to me or feel part of me, for some reason, I have this welcoming, opening um, personality. I also have this personality at times that are very compassionate and kind. I also have this playfulness, kid-like being within me that comes across in different things I do in my art. I've been told by multiple artists that my art appeals to all ages. So there's not many artists that can say your art's you can be all ages. It's like it either it doesn't. I am very playful. I'm like, and all that. I'm also grounded in my faith. God's been with me all the time. When I'm in doubt and I'm going through things and I feel like I'm alone, I'm constantly praying. I pray all the time throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm constantly in my head. I might not say my prayers out loud for others to hear, but I'm constantly in my head talking to him, getting reassurance. Not only do I have him, my cats ground me in that, because that's what they do, because it's that, like you heard me earlier. He heard me, I was talking in the subject, and he came up here and it's like, okay, I'm gonna, and I was petting him. Well, I have two. It was Sir that was up here. I The parts of me that I cheer, no matter what I've gone through. There's things in life that people, like, they never would have guessed I was going through. I've always in my life have always gravitated to the point of helping others, cheering people on, always. And the funny thing about that is that even the darkest moments, I wouldn't say jumped in. I almost took it as that's who I was supposed to be. Like, like that's who I was supposed to be. Those moments grounded me. I I got away from me and I would help others and I would do. But somehow along the way, sometimes a lot of times, I always didn't remember me. Even as a mom, I always put me on the back burner. I kept putting everybody else first. And lately, again, I had to remind myself I need to put me first and I need to be the cheerleader for me, which is, it's so hard for me.
Yeah.
I have the hardest time, downtime when I'm not helping. I feel lost. My girls are now, as of last summer, I am no longer which I am a mom. Technically, I'm a mom, but I'm no longer a mom that's in care of someone. I don't have that, and I'm very much lost. I'm lost in my head, and I'm lost in doing. I'm lost in my home. I'm lost trying to be okay with me. Again, in those moments, I have the cats and I have God, and I'm the online, the music,
Yeah.
the friends online, and I noticed I was a present for a while on a lot of different things, and then I pulled back because it's hard for me um to engage sometimes. It's just I want to, I want to, but in that I also have the hardest time trusting people. I have the hardest time trying to express what I need to express. I'm mostly there for everybody else, but I I uh I want to be with people, but then I want to be like put me in my little you know I used to I told my friend, there's a friend I used to tell, I feel like a porcupine. I want so hard to be loved and I want to be hugged and I really want to engage with you, but I put my porcupines out and I'll come by you and you're gonna run away from me because I'm gonna try, like, you're gonna think I'm like scary or something, but I'm not really scared. I'm just trying to be by you because I really want to be social, but I don't know how to be.
Yeah.
I'm trying so hard to be. I try so hard to engage with people. I find that I feel like I'm awkward. I feel like people don't understand me. I think when I kid, sometimes I think people like mistake me, like
Yeah.
maybe I'm being rude and I'm not. But that's really how I cope with things sometimes. If I can't, if I'm, if I'm not talking to God, then I'm trying to be goofy. If I can't be creative and do things, I'm trying to be goofy
Yeah.
because maybe I don't want the heavy. I don't like being the heavy. I don't like trying to be. I've always tried to be like the cheerleader.
Yeah.
Maybe my porcupines are like maybe mini cheerleading things on me that people are just, it's invisible because I usually always am cheering people on.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know.
I
I,
get that. I
yeah,
understand. Like I'm
yeah,
that way sometimes. Like yeah, I host these shows, but like I'm socially awkward and I always worry about how I word myself to people and how I present myself to people because I'm like, they might misunderstand. They might,
right,
think that I'm being negative when I'm not.
right, right, right. I, if anything, I don't know. It's funny when I think about this, and multiple people will tell me this, and a lot of people say this about me. For some reason, when God made me, He gave me an abundance of patience. I don't have mad and angry. I don't. There's something. There should be a lot of moments I should be angry and mad at people, and I I approach things a lot different than normal people. People think, oh my gosh, this happened and she's gonna be like this, and I'm like, I approach things so different. It's like I don't know, it's different. I wish I had mad. I wish I had angry in me because those moments in life that I really need to be like, you know,
Yeah.
don't do that. I just take it on a different approach. But um, I don't know. It's
Oh,
weird.
I don't
But
think
yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's why I gravitated toward you online and sent you a friend request, and here we are.
Yeah,
So, like, I think that's why I gravitated toward you, because you seem like a calm presence, and you just seem like one of those people that very easy to talk to, and you know won't take things the wrong way, and I can be
right,
myself around. I
right,
appreciate having
right,
people like that around me.
right. I welcome all people. There's not nothing that if somebody's going through, there's not nothing that people can't bring to me that I will try and sit with them. I've sat with people talking about whatever they want to talk about if they're going through something. I've been that person, but for some reason I don't always extend myself out when I need to. I have the
Yeah,
hardest time, but I am all welcoming. I don't judge. I try really hard not to judge because it's not my place to judge. I try really hard to be fair. I try really hard to be open minded. I really try really hard to be open minded. Um, I think I do a good job at that. It doesn't mean that sometimes like my head doesn't like whatever, but cautionary most of the time. I'm always open minded. Um, but I don't know. I just try really hard to be me. But even with that being said, when I say that, there's parts I still know there's still parts of me I have not unleashed. I don't know what I
yeah,
know there's parts of me I'm not unleashed yet because if it was me, really me, I'd be sitting here with like really pink hair, orange color hair. I would have like I don't maybe like a tattoo like I don't know somewhere like over here, but I don't have any of that on me because it's not yet I'm not able to be that yet. I don't know
yeah,
why I haven't allowed myself. I still have parts of me as a kid that I've not opened up to be okay with. Um,
yeah,
parts of me, I think society that I feel like I'll be judged as a certain way or something. And
yeah,
I don't know. As a woman, it's a lot different. Men, I don't know. It's this, you know this. It seems like we have it harder for us to try and prove that we can and be, and that to be taken serious. Men,
yeah,
they just are given such a privilege on so many things. And sorry, men, I'm sorry out there, but it's true. It's a man's world, and every profession is man orientated. They get the first, they get the first, they get the first. We don't get the first. And um I don't know, I don't know if it's just the fact that young me still, you know, is trying to be okay with a lot of things and trying to make my own voice. I'm trying still to have a voice, and that's
mhm,
hard. And even with that being said, I fought through a lot and gone through a lot, and I really do believe just because God gave me an abundance of patience, I really do think if I did have anger and if I did have a fast tongue of not good in expressing words that were not always so great to say blah 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 whatever in those moments. I don't know if I'd be here. I think I don't know, for some reason I think I know for a fact that God put me here for those that were not well too, for those that were struggling with mental health. Because I've sat with many that were not well, and I've gone to many that were not well. I know that I'm not even trained, but it was just that way that God, you know, and a lot of people would never even be able to do that. They they steer away from that because they don't want to sit with people that are not well, that are not okay, that are on the brink. And here I am teeter totting in my own head with these people, and somehow or another, you know, by God's grace or whatever, I was able to make sure that they're okay and they're still here.
yeah,
But I I don't know, as a warrior, There's different types of us. I think we all are in some way a warrior because we've all gone through things that we never thought we would be able to do and what we thought we would break. Maybe we mentally broke for a minute. Maybe we mentally broke for an hour. Maybe we mentally broke for a couple weeks. But we all go through things in life that are just hard and hard to fathom that reality is reality. And sometimes it gets blurred between reality and unreality because sometimes it's just how we handle things. And
Yeah.
that's okay. And that's okay because the reality is as long as we know that there's a end to whatever it is we're going through, and that whatever the outcome is, that we'll have to deal with it. Um, I don't know. I'm not done. I'm older now. And it sucks to say I'm in my 50s, and I still struggle very much with some of the things I struggled with as a kid. Some things I've learned, some things I'm still struggling with. I wish I could say that depression's not part of who I am. I wish I could say that it's any part of me. I wish I could say I don't have mental health issues. I wish I could say, God, I don't have anxiety, but that's not the case because I very much have anxiety. I wish I could say that I wish I didn't have PTSD. I wish I could say I didn't have that, but the reality is I have it. I wish I could say that I conquered my medications and that I don't have any fear of taking them. But the
Yeah.
reality is that's all part of who I am. And every day I will fight to still keep being okay to try and take them. It will,
Yeah.
I don't know how long it will take to get to that point. Um, I hope that it might be tonight. I hope that it's tomorrow. I don't know when that timeline is. I can't, it's not, you know, I was told not to put that pressure on me, to go one at a time until I can build back up. But even that one at a time trying to do is still so much energy to put into it. It's a lot. It's hard. But I'm not
Yeah.
giving up mentally. Mentally, I'm aware. And being aware is like that's the biggest thing. As long as you're aware of what, I know what I need to do. And I'm still fighting to try and do it. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. It might feel like at moments I'm defeated. I feel really, really defeated at moments, and like uh, it tears me up that I went to a program to try and help myself with depression and anxiety, and then had this issue with the medications that put me into a tailspin of where I am 7 months later, still trying to fight to be where I am. Um, that's and but I'm not giving up. I mean, I'm still, trying to be okay with that. And that's probably the hardest thing that I deal with every day.
Yeah.
Um, and I know most people will never understand that. What is, well, those that maybe have an addiction or something like that and battle every day maybe might have an idea what it's like because they have to deal with that every day. But this
Yeah.
not being able to take medications for health issues that you really need to do, it's sort of, I guess you could say, the same in some ways mentally, in some ways, but yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I really appreciate that you've told us your journey on today's show. That's very, very brave, and I really, really respect you and appreciate you for doing that because you're going to help so many people who are watching this program, and I appreciate that. Like, thank you so much for being on this program.
Well, I thank you, Jamie. I hope that I articulated exactly. It's hard to express how you feel on
Yeah,
certain things, and
it is.
I'm trying to fight emotions on things and not be babbling and crying and
No,
not to be on that to hear. It's hard, because again, we've learned certain things, but I hope
Yeah.
that it makes sense, and I hope that it helps somebody, and I hope that if anybody has, any suggestions, reach me because I really need them. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's good to surround ourselves with, positive influences, and it's good to be able to talk to people like, like me and you are talking, we're having a conversation. It's healthy to have a conversation, and it's good. So if anybody in the audience, because this is pre-recorded, so don't think that we're ignoring your comments or your questions when this airs, because it is
Right.
pre-recorded. But I will go back and look at the comments, and I will try to answer your questions as best as possible. So never fear, I will look at the comments. And if there's anything that you want me to add in the description, feel free to send it to the direct
Okay.
message box, because I will
Right.
put that in the show for
Yeah.
our audience.
Yeah. I want to say one thing. I do want to say that if anybody feels the way I do about the medications and have an issue and they're not being heard and they have a therapist, it's okay to go to somebody else until you're heard. Because
Yeah.
I dealt with my therapist for a while. No one was hearing me, and my psychiatrist wasn't hearing me either. And when I got changed to the other one location that they asked me to go to the day program just for the week, when I talked with them and I realized, wow, they have more for me to open up and they're listening, I ended up switching and it made a difference. So I
Yeah.
would say keep going until you're heard because that's
Mm.
part of why we're warriors. You don't give up until you find what you need to be able to stand. That's what we needed. That's what you need. Sometimes you need other resources and stuff to be okay in this world. And that's okay.
Yeah, that is perfectly fine. Like, that's understandable. And like Annette said, definitely, keep going until you find a person that will listen to you, because that
Yeah.
needs to happen.
That's
Is
key.
there any
It's so key.
is there anything else that you would like to say before we close the program out?
Jamie, thank you for letting me have a voice to express. Um, like I said, I wasn't sure what topic I was going to speak on today because there were so many things I could have spoke on that were just as heavy, if not more. But I think this is important because for me, I don't have any resources yet. I don't know anybody else that's going through the things I'm going through. So maybe this will start a conversation with people.
Yeah.
Maybe this will be, maybe this will be a thing saying, yeah, I have an issue too. Or why can't there be something for people like me? Because right now, there's nothing for me really. And I can keep bouncing every couple months if I needed to go to a day program, but it's not really doing what I need. And I don't want to give up my rights to say, as me, to go into a hospital permanently for life to be
Yeah.
medicated, to be
No.
institutionalized mentally. Basically, this is what they were offering. And no, I can't do, that shouldn't be an option. That shouldn't be an
No.
option.
No. And I will say this, like Star Raven Studios, we have a group on Facebook that you can go to. There is a private chat on there for members. So if any of you, like, I know we're not medical professionals, so please don't take any advice on this program as professional medical advice. But if anybody has experienced this and they would like to talk to Annette or myself about it, you can go to Star Raven Studios on Facebook. We do have a group and we do have a chat service there. Feel free to talk, like start a topic, start discussion, a discussion. There's nothing wrong with that. It's good. It's good to have discussions
Right.
about things.
Right. And
But
again, I'm no professional either. I'm no medical professional. I am a life experience person, though.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
would say I have no doctrines behind me, no MDs, no nothing, but I have life experience with this because I've been dealing with this issue with medications. I have identified since I was little, but I didn't realize throughout my life, every time I had an issue with medication, it was getting worse and worse and worse. Didn't realize that until the last couple of years that I was like, oh my God, when I was literally shaking in my own kitchen, taking my medicine, getting sick because of anxiety, because my stomach was in knots over medications, sweating, making deals with myself over medications. And it wasn't just anxiety, it was literally because of trauma with medications. And then it just activated into more mental health issues for me,
Yeah.
which is reality. But I would
Yeah.
appreciate if anybody has any, I would totally appreciate it. If anybody has any suggestions or any programs or anything, I would love to hear it.
But so definitely leave your comments. Go to the Star Raven Studios Facebook group, Star Raven Studios YouTube channel. That's where this program is going to be airing. It's also going to be airing on Cosmos Creative Television at a later date. And that's pretty much it. Thank you all for watching this program. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much, Annette Diamond, for being here. I appreciate you so much. And until next time, friends, love, hugs, and blessings.